resignation letter from Gary Critter, right here.
Yeah, I just provided y'all with a copy.
Okay, any other correspondence? Vicky?
Not anything yet for the open meeting.
Okay. Consent agenda, everybody reviewed the meeting minutes from last meeting? Okay. And we have payroll certifications. 02/25/26 payroll is $74,118.56. Benefits $24,496.69. On 03/10/26 payroll of $104,236.06. Benefits $27,741.06. Don't include PTO payout for Robert Weber. That's probably why it's so high.
That's why.
Charlie, approved vouchers since last meeting, 03/11/26, $68,322.03, and 03/16/26, $48,249.94. I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I make a motion to accept consent agenda.
Second. Okay, moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, let me get you everything to sign.
Consent agenda is approved. Signatures in progress.
No, it's coming to you, that's just the draft, so you're free.
Give it one direction here. We got 5 on.
I forgot to ask Shauna, just add another one for, she just added 5 for when we became a 5-person board, I forgot to ask her to add more
Okay,
on.
this one has got 6, or got them all.
Yeah. The other one comes from the county, so I'll just have to ask her to add a whole nother sheet, actually. I don't think they have any, commissioner boards that are larger than 5.
What's this right up on the back of the,
That is just the attachment of the speech that the chief made.
okay.
Instead of retyping the entire thing, I'm attaching it to the meeting.
Charlie. There,
He's off to the left.
there's.
Always on the back page.
There's the second page, signature.
I think
This
I'm
one we
with
need
you.
to just add a line on.
You just add yourself in. There's still a spot.
I'll say
Saving
that.
that. I actually have a media keeper that add to the bottom.
One spot.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
She's like, I just added things for you.
That's all on this.
That is the detail that, of every single payroll transaction that took place. But I did make a note about the cash out payout, just so you guys would know why it was so much higher. So you wouldn't have to dig for the answer yourself.
Down there, okay. You're here and Alan's on the next page.
Okay. Conrad's not with us today.
He's able.
I can't remember when the last time Conrad was not at the meeting.
Hunting season?
No, he had an appointment.
I I didn't
which he
see,
would have changed if
I
he,
mean, the last time he wasn't here,
oh, maybe, possibly.
Yeah.
or gold mining.
Well, either one.
It's too early for hunting season.
For most people.
If you live in Monterey County, I don't know.
Yeah.
Before you went into new business, I did want to explain that the reason for this side report here with your financials is that the treasurer had not combined the bank accounts yet. She will be, so your next report like this will have everything all in one. So your bottom line here that shows the 616,120 is actually 616,120 plus the 92,737 that was still in Fire 4's bank account. I gave you the cross fund report that shows you Fire District 4's ending balance. She still had vouchers she had to pay out of that account, so she's now combined them and all your future reports will be joined.
And then, so segueing onto that, so if you have 615 and then you have the 98 on top of it, then you're sitting right back at 700. And then as of just a couple of minutes ago on finances, total to date for the month, we've drawn in 285,116.36. So you can consider us sitting right near the 900,000, right, kind of where we started for the year. So even though we're in a lull between tax time and everything, we're still financially super solid.
Get a fire refund.
When I pay mine, the county's gonna be in good shape. Yeah.
Okay, new business, fraud report filed with state of Washington for payroll discrepancy with previous District 4 and fraud report for propane discrepancy of delivery filed with state as well. Any news on that?
I think that, well, we'll both handle it. We'll both run with it. There was obviously some payroll discrepancies with respect to District 4. Initially, when we were brought in to oversee their deal, we were doing it super peripherally, and then the board wanted us to do an investigation, and we kind of looked at all the finances and then kind of gave a synopsis of what we saw. That as we're moving forward, and then as we're looking at their books more, and Nikki will go into it more, we're starting to see a little bit more. And it came to a point in time where it's time to bring the state in, it's time to bring law enforcement in, and it's time to begin that process. Whether or not what the outcome of that, we won't know what the outcome is. We're lay people when it comes to that, but there is some discrepancies there that really does require somebody a little bit of our pay grade to come in and actually look at it from the state and really review those finances appropriately. Primarily, we don't want that to bleed over to our brand, because if there's some there, then I think that we should begin to mitigate that as soon as possible and quickly.
So per the chief's request, with regard to the payroll discrepancy and the propane discrepancy, he, on advice, let me know that I needed to file a fraud report with the state of Washington, which there's two separate reports. The first one is the propane discrepancy, and for anyone that isn't aware of what took place as far as the propane, that back when I was still working for District 4 as the finance person, upon the third propane bill that was right at $1,000 from November to January, I asked the previous board of District 4 what they felt about that, and at that time, Eric was the interim chief in charge, and I asked whether we were heating that building with propane, did we have equipment in it? So upon searching or researching it, Eric went over to the building and found that the heaters were not at an excessive rate, and that the propane tank as we were continuing to look at it, first I shut off the auto delivery, I called immediately and shut off auto delivery so that they could stop delivering propane. And then Eric began, doing investigations where he put up trail cams. He looked at the percentage of the tank, which didn't change, it stayed at 60 for a long period of time, with no more auto refills happening. So then I contacted the company to try to ascertain the correct site address for where they were delivering the propane. Because on the bill, there's the billing address, there's a service address, and there's a site address. There's 3 different addresses on that propane bill. I also checked with the county and found out that since 2022, up until the end of 2025 or the beginning of 2026, that there was close to $20,000 paid for propane. Eric had heard a mild 3-party rumor from the previous finance person that it might have been an old commissioner's address, that was the service address, but we could not verify that that was true either. We just did not know where they were delivering the propane, and we couldn't get a clear answer from AmeriGas. So the chief opened up a investigation, if you will, with the sheriff's department, and to date, I don't believe that they have been able to get clear answers. I think they're working on search warrants. And
There's
so,
nothing on the cameras,
Nothing, other than me and Chief poking our heads in there.
Yeah, there was no, and not only that, the ground was soft and there was no indication of delivery.
Which propane tank?
The one at 44.
44.
And it, you know, this whole propane thing, I don't know what it is. There may not be a there, but the fact of the matter is you have about $22,000 worth of taxpayer money that went to filling a propane tank constantly. We don't know where that went. We did our due diligence with respect to checking the location site where they said that they were delivering it. We did not see indications that they were delivering it. At that point in time, after the trail cam, we felt that we did our due diligence and it was time to turn it over to another agency, and we've done that. The report that we've gotten back from the investigating deputy is that they're being stonewalled at the gas company and that they will be serving search warrants. So that's where that's at. And like I said, there may not be a there. This may be that it was delivered someplace, that there may be a clerical error, there may be something else. The fact that, but it wasn't in our watch, so we just want to make sure that we do our due diligence. With respect to the auditors, the state auditor's office, we're seeing some payroll discrepancies that were completely, we feel that on its face, not to cast judgment or dispersions or whatever, on its face, it looks
everything that I have at this point, and they need a statement from the previous commissioner, and then I don't know what they'll do with it. For us, it isn't about what they do with it, it's that we will require to report it. And we'll see, and I'll keep you abreast of it. It's the assistant, that handled our 3-year audit that I'm dealing with, so I do have a relationship, or did have a relationship. She's easy to talk to, and we're communicating, things back and forth.
What you're saying, what I'm hearing is,
Percentage or
Yeah.
gauge, it never changed at all.
And no evidence of leaks, I forgot.
And we couldn't find smell,
well, it's not changing, it's not leaking, but we're still getting $1,000.
We're not
We're getting $1,000 a month.
correct, but, so the trail cameras and going and physically inspecting the tank was after the third $1,000 bill, and nothing, and that was at the same time concurrently she shut off the auto pay or auto delivery, and nothing changed to date, so,
As the cops would say, it sounds a little.
Yeah, and that tank just serviced 44.
just one station, one heater at one station. Yeah.
But with the
Use
3 different
500 a
addresses
year.
on the bill, it's tough to
Run a heater
ascertain where
container.
they actually delivered it. That's the problem.
It's a, $250,
Unless it
$500.
was just bookkeeping money that went out the window and you never.
It could honestly be, honestly, I don't know. It just for me, that when I hit the third $1,000 one, that's when I was like, hey, this isn't, I don't know what's happening But in all the previous years, every winter, they had paid that much money for propane. Cause I got the report for the sheriff that shows how far back this has been going on.
So will we get the results of the investigation, or will the
Yes.
sheriff just make charges and put somebody in the who's got?
Well, we'll be part and party to it, cause we'll be the victim of the crime. The fire district will be the victim of the crime. If there is a crime.
Sounds like 10 years to me.
If there is a crime.
Like that.
I just, you know, I just, we're just doing what we're supposed to do, that's all. And the sheriff's department and the state agencies will do their job and figure it out appropriately.
Any other new business?
Not that I have.
I actually do have something I'd like to pop on there real quick, with respect to the EMS district. So, I'd like to push for an EMS district kind of based on the formula of the Port of Ponderay. It'd be a non-taxing district. Basically, we could run for grants, and it'd be a voluntary participation in that. And, let's see, pass this back here, and pass this over here, read that, so got us back over
This
here.
has to go through the commissioners again?
Yes, it does.
They gonna waffle again?
I'm hoping my goal is that since there shouldn't be any objection with anybody that wanting to participate, because it'll be completely voluntary, that it would be a no-brainer for them. We're not asking them to enable, we're actually gonna create a junior taxing district, but with an ordinance that basically strictly prohibits the collecting of taxes, and it'll allow us to try to chase the possible federal funding or state funding that we might be able to get through there. I think, you know, this is kind of a philosophy with our business model. You know, if you don't have a fishing line in the water, you're not gonna catch a fish. So, this is just another way of trying to figure out how to be more bountiful.
This would be under fire two?
Yes, sir. And there's no burden to the taxpayers of the county. That would be, like I said, it would be ordinance driven, and that wouldn't be.
So if we want it, according to this, nobody votes against it, right?
Correct.
Unless it's us,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's non-taxing, I'll vote for it.
And then really it puts the onus back, because there was a bunch of conjecture about, you know, the last levy, people were being kind of forced into it. Everybody had a mindset, it's either all or nothing, and then we kind of took that mindset to further it, even though we never wanted a taxing, there was no verbiage in it like that, like the Port of Ponderay. And we probably should have had that initially in there and have that discussion, however, there was such resistance to it that, you know, it just created some animosity, and then with that animosity came conjecture. And some of that conjecture, I feel was true and untrue. You know, because when you get pushed into a situation maybe you don't want to be in, that your reluctance to be completely open-minded about it is kind of restricted. So this is kind of a put up or shut up. So the other people said we want to tax them. When they create a taxing district and we don't, then okay. And then when we fund our EMS through possibly some grants out there that we're going to go out and swing at, then the other entities could look at us and go, okay, well, look, maybe they did have a right idea, or, you know, 3 or 4 years from now, we don't have anything in it, and they go, hey, well, you know what, look, they didn't get anything out of it. But like I said, you know, our mindset and our ideology here is we chase every opportunity we can without going back to the taxpayer and asking for more money. People are tired of that. I would request, if you need to review it, that'd be great, we could table it to the next discussion, but this thing has been hashed out for a long time with this fire district, and if you guys would sign that, we'd submit it to the county commissioners.
I got a question. We formed this, what prevents us from applying to the county for an increase in sales tax? So you don't have to ask the taxpayers every time, property tax owners, taxpayers. I mean, they legalized Didn't even have to argue about it. If we form this, now we're an official agency that can ask for 1/10 of a cent on the dollar, which is a lot of money if you really add it up over the county. That way, everybody that comes through this county, whether they drive through for 2 hours or they live here, they're spending money here and they're supporting the potential need for EMS instead of just shoveling it down onto the already overtaxed taxpayer.
I think that's something we looked at, Commissioner.
I don't see why they can't do it. I mean,
There is a restriction by law
okay.
that the sales tax has to be limited, and I'm speaking off the cuff, so. But it's, the sales tax is available for emergency services communications, centers, I think is what we discovered. And it was capped at a 1/10%. There
But
was
it's-
small.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, it's just not in our wheelhouse, so we really haven't vetted it. Because to really to vet something like that, we really have to look at it legally. You have to bring in the legal guidance, and then that ends up costing us some money. So we'll shift it back there, but I don't think, Stevens County is doing the same thing right now. There's a lot of counties talking about how do we do it without putting it on the backs of the property, without, and not only that's really an excellent question, that you transition through the county, you utilize the services, you don't live here, and then, then you utilize the services, and then there's no tax, there's no tax burden.
I just
for
said
the
it's the
traveler.
difference between mental health and physical health. And if they can ask for it, I mean, a lot of the time these people bring their problems on themselves, smoking dope all the time, they have to go to a counselor, well then, guess what? Who's paying for it? The taxpayers. Not that everyone admits it, I'm not lumping them all into one sum, but counseling service, which is a medical, it's my opinion, a medical need, and we need it. I mean, but at the same time, they didn't even have to ask twice to get a 10% on the dollar. Why can't something in the county as important as EMS countywide be funded by more than just John Q. taxpayer? That's kind of my basis.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm already overtaxed.
According to quick glance at this puts the county commissioners as a governing board of the EMS district.
Well, that would be to remain to be seen. Once you decide that you want to move in that, direction, then yeah, that would probably be that would definitely be a consideration initially. And then we can figure out how the bylaws, because you have to write bylaws and stuff like that. You have to figure out how the district, and not only that, you have to figure out how the pastor, how that money's gonna be spent, how that money's gonna be allocated. So those are all to be worked out once we basically let the county commissioners know that we're in favor of this and that we want this to begin moving forward. And with that movement forward, those talks and those discussions will begin.
Okay, but if they assume the duties as ex officio, as your governing body, you're asking them to do another job for no pay.
I think they have to be the governing body initially.
Initially.
They get
But
something done initially, and then it's a
Is there a
body that's formed by the people that are in the district, and
Is there a bailout point in here where they turn it over to the EMS district itself?
yes.
That would be,
And pull themselves off the top of it?
yeah.
That can be clarified too. Something
Be
like,
clarified when?
well, you guys can change your letter, I mean.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Okay. It's just the initial conversation again, we ran at this on and off for years, and now we're, the whole thing, the whole arm stock, the arm bar on this thing was, you're gonna come raise our taxes. We never said we wanted to raise taxes, that was never the intention, but that was the excuse used, so now we're making it in more clear language that's not the case. And to be honest with you, now with the merger and stuff like that, I think that it puts us in a better position and honestly, if you think about it, the population density for the fire district now is, it's definitely, not as, certainly not nowhere near as high as the county seat in Spofford, right? That's where your population density is. We do need a hybrid program in our area. we do need more opportunities. We have to scramble more because we're not relying on the taxpayer as much as everybody else is. So I view this as just an opportunity to try to chase a different revenue source down.
So basically, it's a grant writing committee.
It is. It is, and I think that we need to probably bring on, in the next year or two, we probably need to bring on some professional grant writers. You know, that may be an expenditure that we need to spend money on moving into the future, to sustain, you know, to sustain and it's a labor of love doing what we do now, but it is a constant grind at chasing the dollars that we chase all the time, constantly. We always gotta be spot on, constantly moving. It would be nice to lay back and lean on the taxpayer, like most entities do, but that's just not our nature. So we need to be innovative in finding different revenue streams. And I view this as just one of those.
So basically, this is a letter to the county commission.
Yes, sir.
I see a problem in signing a letter to the county commission.
No, we got a couple more years to knock it around the,
Yeah, be interesting their response.
I mean, we did that for years already, why not?
Yeah. Do it.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I would second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, sir.
Passed.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it.
You have one of these, it's an
That's
official
all.
copy you want us to sign?
Everybody gets to sign their own mail it in.
That might flood them with too much paper.
Yeah, they'd never get to them all.
Are you going to hand tailor your own, or are you gonna use the one that's in front of you?
We'll just send this one in.
Yeah.
And
See
then,
what happens.
and then we'll argue about it once it comes, if they decide they actually wanna step up to the plate. So far, they haven't come to the table.
I don't actually have a copy of it, but is it something that I can put? I was just trying to see if it's something I can put together and get a spot for signatures.
It's
Last
page.
I didn't know, so I have a copy.
It's here.
So do you guys wanna do that now, and I'll send the
You want to just sign
correspondence?
yours?
We just voted on it, yeah.
Sign it.
Okay.
We got one work.
Copy is forthcoming, as they would say somewhere.
Then I'll make sure it gets where it's supposed to go.
Can I have my
Fourth
copy?
of it is coming.
I might need this.
Does that mean a fourth of the copy is coming? Something like that.
Sure, the crews over there cleaning out 42, getting it all shiny.
I don't know, I went over there. I guess I get to be the right
I have a
agenda.
feeling that officially, didn't have a copy to look at it.
Yeah.
Be hard to wrangle them all together again and have them wait a whole minute if I don't do it now.
You have to go find Conrad in the wild now to sign it.
We've got more than a quorum now, so.
Sir?
Thank you, thank you. You even have a spot on it. Yeah.
This is, that's one. You got enough to do?
You good, Nick? Okay, chief's report?
Yes, sir. All right, well, good afternoon, Commissioners. Our operations command staff continues to function at an exceptionally high level, ensuring all stations are being properly staffed and that every citizen in our district receives timely, professional, and compassionate service. We've been extremely busy over the past month, and the Deputy Chief soon will provide a detailed run report. Despite the ongoing complexities of the annexation and the many moving pieces of district operation, I am pleased to report that everything is running smoothly. Managing a fire district is always a demanding endeavor, but our team has met every challenge with dedication and professionalism. As an example, and I'm not one of your frontline responders anymore, you guys don't hear me on the radio as much anymore than I personally responded to multiple incidents in the last 30 days, the vast majority being down in the new emerged area. Interestingly enough, 200 calls a year.
Hour a month.
Yeah. In the last 30 days, including 3 structure fires and a cardiac arrest involving a newborn. Upon arrival of the newborn incident, we immediately began CPR on the infant who had been without signs of life since giving birth approximately 5 minutes prior to arrival. Our arrival time was, you couldn't, it was almost unfortunate but serendipitous that we just had people out there. And literally, this is off Westside Kalispell. It's like, this is not an easy or quick place to get to. Sadly, despite our best efforts, the baby did not survive. These calls remind us daily of both the gravity and the privilege of the work we do. We've handled everything from highly complex incidents to routine calls, all while maintaining strong response times, building confidence and trust within the communities we serve. In Battalion 4, we continue building on the foundation established after the merger. Our turnout and coverage are now superior to prior levels, and we are making meaningful strides in both community engagement and response capabilities. Our partnerships remain the cornerstone of our success. The Kalispell Tribe and SPOFR, these are resources that assist us frequently, and with respect to the tribe daily. And this teamwork has delivered the best possible outcomes in critical situations. We are committed to bringing Battalion 4 fully up to the standards District 2 is known for. This includes completing living quarters upgrades at Station 41 in Delcana to better support our on-duty staff, along with ongoing mechanical work to bring our fire engines, water tenders, and command vehicles to full readiness. Several vehicles, including heavy-duty apparatus in South County, are currently in service or scheduled for maintenance. So we're solving that problem one piece at a time. I want to sincerely thank every member of our staff and our contractors. Their hard work, commitment, and teamwork makes all of this possible. Last month, our leadership team continued strong community engagement on multiple fronts. Division Chief McCanran attended multiple meetings in North County and was forefront to represent our district. Division Chief Paul Nelson has been actively involved in local schools and throughout the community, driving applications for both seasonal and potential long-term positions. He has made significant inroads within the high schools, engagement that we've never seen before in our high schools. Especially in Battalion 4, but even up here. Chief Nelson continues to be an outstanding asset, and we are proud of his efforts, including preparations to strengthen our vegetation fire capabilities. As you saw upon arrival today, Transport 20 and Dozer 20 are on site. Yeah. We anticipate having them fully operational within about 90 days, with the undercarriage work being done in-house to control cost. Deputy Chief Gallinger has represented us well in multiple meetings, including Coffee with a Cop, town council sessions in Newport, and the EMS district meeting in Stevens County. And the Stevens County discussions remain status quo. I've held productive conversations with the town of Bayonne regarding the potential acquisition of the fire station. While barriers remain, I met with the new mayor for nearly 2 hours and found us largely aligned. There are real constraints on both sides, so I remain optimistic but realistic. A fresh leadership approach may finally open doors that have been closed for the last 6 years. Progress is already visible. Light maintenance has begun at the Ion station to address safety concerns we raised, and the town has started reimbursing us for expenditures that they are contractually responsible for. The first time news. I'm hopeful we can reach a successful resolution in 2026 that benefits both the town and the district. This evening at 6 p.m., I will attend the Bigfoot organizational meeting at the Cutter Theater to prepare for the 2026 festival. We are excited about a more central front stage presence this year, which will improve public visibility, outreach, and our ability to respond if needed. The Bigfoot Festival is a very unique event in North County, and we are proud to be supportive of it in any way we can. Recent notifications indicate fire season could be extremely severe. As the largest fire district in the region, we are focused on positioning resources to catch fire in their initial stages, incipient stages, ideally under an acre before they grow. I had a productive 1-hour conversation with Chris Munoz of Action Resources, and we are on schedule and of the same mindset for mobilization this year. We remain optimistic about generating meaningful revenue for the district through fire department mobilizations while protecting our communities. We have also brought several important pieces of equipment online recently. There was an article in the paper. We have Zoll ventilators are now in our frontline service in our frontline units. These were acquired through military surplus and represent a significant investment. We had to put some money into them. They had to go off for servicing, and they're easy to acquire from the government, but they're expensive to bring online. I think we have about, I don't know, $13,000, $14,000 into them.
Per unit.
No, overall. And those units alone are
About 13 or 14.
about 13,000, yeah.
How many?
We have about 7.
We have 9 total.
Yeah, 7 will be online, and then we'll always have 2 probably rotating in and out of service. Upon your arrival here, you most likely noticed a heavy-duty towing apparatus in the driveway.
With a bath.
Yeah. Last year, we spent about $4,000 to $5,000 on towing and recovery fees for our equipment. This donated unit, incurring only recovery, registration, and insurance costs, will allow us to tow our own engines, water tenders, especially during out-of-district mobilizations. And as we push not only ambulances out, but we begin to push engines out and tenders out into various parts of the state of Washington, but also into possibly areas of Oregon, we need a way to recover those, to bring those back to be fixed without getting hammered with a $5,000 or $10,000 tow bill to bring them home.
We never get stuck in the mud.
Only when that tender operator dumps water all over.
Nothing ever breaks down.
Those operators break down.
That's great, that's great. This will save, this will save significant money and give us greater self-reliance. It will also be available at nominal cost to our mutual aid partners, so they are not subject to excessive commercial recovery fees. It'll kind of go under mutual aid. Pay the fuel, give us a little bit per mile, and make us whole, and get your equipment recovered for a lot less than what you're paying now. Minimum work remains on it, adding a radio, decals are already completed, and ancillary towing equipment. It has a wheel lift and under reach capabilities. Additionally, the 2 units donated via the hospital district from Kirkland Fire are coming online. One is in service today as Medic 91, and the second will be Medic 93, and will be ready within 48 hours. Both will be permanently stationed in Newport to provide consistent coverage for high call volume from the city and the hospital, including interfacility transports. Before turning the floor over to the deputy and division chiefs, I want to express how extremely optimistic I am about the direction of our fire district. The merger has transformed us into a stronger, more capable organization. When I compare where we are today to even 1 year ago, or to 8 or 9 years ago, the growth is dramatic. I stand in awe of what our team has accomplished. The credit belongs entirely to our dedicated staff. My role is to simply serve them, ensure they have the support they need, and help create an environment where their service to the community is equitable, consistent, and fully backed by the administration. I'm deeply impressed with the entire POC Fire team, the men and the women who make it work every single day. All eyes are on us, and we are not only meeting but exceeding the expectations of our community. Recently, I spoke with Tom Mike, and he is co-part to join Bucks. They're hand in hand. And I had a very pleasant conversation with Mr. Lee. He admitted he was initially reluctant, imagine that, about the merger, but has been extremely pleased with the results from day one. He specifically noted the improved response capabilities of battalion forms, that the community is finally getting what it needs. Feedback like this from long-term residents with deep roots in the county carries real weight. And it fills me with pride. We are seeing more citizens stop by Battalion 4 stations, dropping off applications, taking tours. It's a unique and exciting time in our district's history. Truly. History is unfolding before our eyes. It is truly beautiful to watch. And I'm honored to serve this board, this district, in this community. Thank you for your continued support in our leadership.
I'll echo Chief comments. Sunday, we had a small timber fire, and I called Chief afterward. It's humbling to just kind of stand in the corner and watch our team go to work. Just kind of the fat guy over here with the hard hat. And while the just absolute rock stars do their job. Cody Miller, Jack Allinger, Landon, and Julie were there. Our partners from the tribe had showed up. A big cedar tree, probably an 80-foot dual trunk, split top cedar tree that's burning about 30 feet up in the middle of a recess. And to have,
You didn't land up there.
I did, looked like a spider monkey right to the top of it. But to have folks on our staff that are experts in what they do. In this instance, we had 2 certified fallers that have been trained and should have all the equipment that come up and knock this tree down. It was impressive to watch and just to be a part of. Cody was excited to not be paramedicing at that point. Smelled like chainsaw oil and chop tree down, he was having fun. But, for the month of February, we rounded out the month with a total of 166 calls for service. That includes 148 EMS calls, with 65 of those being IFTs. We had 6 fires, 4 MVCs, and then 8 that were tagged as others. That includes 2 agency assists, blood draws primarily from the prison for the jail. As of right now, for the month of March, we're at a total of 161 calls for service. So we're seeing those numbers kind of consistently grow. We did, compared to last year, we were at 219 calls for the month of February. Again, I'll remind you, I think turned off that automatic Alpha Plus, Charlie Plus response into Spofer's area. We've seen a reduction in the calls, but again, we're consistently, I pulled numbers before the meeting, about 11% non-transport, so our numbers are consistent, that we're not running as many calls, but we're getting more transports as a percentage. So which is exactly what we want. And then of course, frees us up to back up our partners in the south as needed and when requested. So excited to have that. Chief Nelson has been running and gunning. Surround yourself with people that are smarter than you are, get out of the way. He definitely fits that category. So not only do we have somewhere in the vicinity of 50, 60 radios that were, through his connections, were sent over to the DNR, were refurbished, tested, reprogrammed, and sent back at no cost to the district. Phenomenal. Plus, just his presence in Battalion 4 has been just incredible to have him. We had a total, I think, of 7 applicants out of the Selkirk senior class for our EMT program and wildland/resident program. Just 7.
That's crazy.
That's
7 students.
It's half the graduating class.
We had to turn them down, or I'd end up, I'm sorry. So in a combination of him going up there doing just his recruitment, but they also sit on a mock interview board. Cusick, I think we've had super excited, just what we've had in the community. I think Charlie's neighbor, and then there's been at least a half a dozen other individuals in the community that have came down to District 4, to TAC 4, inquiring about volunteer status and what it takes to get on the department as a volunteer. I don't necessarily want to do EMT, I don't necessarily want to fight fire, but how can I serve? And it's humbling, honestly, to have that kind of engagement from the community. So super proud. I give Paul and Blake and even Brian, Captain Ireton being down there, a lot of that credit, just being a presence. That's something cool happening. People want to be a part of it, and we're excited about that. So EMT class, I think there's a total of 13 students begins this evening. Station 41. I think 13 is where we finalized. We ordered 15 books.
Yeah.
We had about 27 people wanted to be a part of that. I think Debbie's already getting ready to run around, you know. She's pretty excited. So they'll start tonight. We have an additional, as of right now, I think 4 resident firefighters that will be starting on April 1st. Specifically for our wildland component, we had a total of 8 apply, and all 8, I believe, were accepted. It's just a matter of timing to bring them on board. We're kind of trying to time out with Captain Ireton and the Station 41 build out, that we actually have rooms to put people. What a problem to have, right? Bummer. But that a lot of these summertime residents, our goal with them is to utilize them specifically in an excess capacity on brush trucks. So with I think, Gerald, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we have 6 Type 6s that we'll have available. The goal is to have 3 additional brush trucks every day that are not tied to direct operations. So an excess in that capacity is the intent as of right now. Obviously, those will be available in district for our mutual aid partners, auto aid partners, and in the region as a whole, as needed. So we're super excited to have that. Chief Nelson and myself, we did attend the wildfire preparation preparedness event that was hosted by the Kalispell tribe at their wellness center. It was well attended. We had somewhere in the vicinity of probably 65 to 70 contacts in the community. We announced in that venue and then subsequent venues that we have personnel in the district that will come do home site surveys through a grant that's been funded by the DNR. So it's no cost to homeowner to have one of our staff. Right now it's Chief Nelson, but we have some training coming up next month. We're going to train up 5 or 6 others that will come out and do home site surveys at no cost to the property owner, no obligation to the property owner whatsoever. It's completely funded by a grant from the DNR to provide that. And give some comfort, peace of mind, right, to individuals, and some ideas about what they may need to do to help shore up the fire safety of their properties. So again, that's been part of that wildland push from Chief Nelson. We've already started as far as vehicles. We've got 2 of the brush trucks up and running in service. We've had, I think, 3 brush fires now in the last 2 weeks. Small. I think the biggest one probably was there on the tribes mutual aid that we ran to. Across the hill, they've had I think
Stevens County said a few.
across the hill, Stevens County and Ferry County have already started to burn. So Ferry County had a 150 plus acre. They had a 30 plus acre. They had a 7.2, 7.5 acre. Stevens County had a 15 acre and a handful of small 2 or 3 acre fires. So we're still in March, you know.
You have a generalization as far as the cause of all these fires?
Vast majority are men.
Yeah, I have no idea. I wasn't there on the tribes on the Leclerc Road South fire.
I would say it was man.
Man, I'm sure, yeah. We haven't had any lightning activity to speak of.
Yeah. So
Not that I'm
people
aware of.
screw around with fire out
so I can brag on him a little bit, otherwise he's hitting.
At least the owl's not on it.
No. Other than that, we're,
You are streaming live.
Yeah.
other than that, continue to, with our training program, hats off to, and a nod to Chief McCann and Captain Ireton and Captain Shire and Captain Roberts. The training program, on shift has become much more robust. It's refreshing to see, there's no ambiguity, no questions of just, hey, this is our training today. You watch shift change happen, they come in, get right into whatever the training evolution is. Yeah, so definitely super proud of not only Chief McCann, but then the training captains that are pushing that out, and the shift officers, and Jared's been a big part of that too. So pushing that out, super proud to see that engagement. And it'll only get better. Are any questions someone have for me?
Good question.
Yes, sir.
On the tow truck, several years ago, I came across this, can that be operated EVIP, or does that have to have a CDO? Because you might be operating that truck in recovery of a vehicle that's on a state or county road.
Yeah, that vehicle's gonna have red lights and sirens on it, so it's gonna operate underneath it.
Can it be, okay.
But the people that'll be driving it will more than likely be commercial drivers,
Are those,
to be honest with you.
will that limit its employment, being
Well,
a fire district vehicle?
Well, if we have to go to Oregon and grab something, then we'll send a commercial driver down.
Yeah, for, recovering our stuff, I
Mhm.
think, yeah. But if you come across an accident on the side of the road, then call in a commercial hauler and get them turned right side up and out.
Yeah, that I don't know, that's what I'm not anticipating. But I'll check legal counsel and make sure that we're good on that. We don't wanna, at this point in time, we don't wanna get into the tow truck business at this
You don't have
point
an
in time.
obligation to act.
At this point in time.
We don't ever wanna get into
It's like, it's not as the ambulance business.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know, and I think about that constantly, Commissioner, with respect to
So-
DOT numbers.
Yeah, I mean, without the DOT numbers, we have to stay intrastate, right? We can't. So we couldn't go to Oregon, is that?
We can under EVIP. The concern becomes if you're deployed into Idaho or Oregon under emergent circumstances, right? Mutual aid.
Right,
highway.
you can tow a truck
You
from
can
it, but you can't tow it to
Well,
it.
and this becomes the question then, when the emergency is over and you're returning home, do you still fall under Washington State Patrol EVIP?
Yeah,
So that's been the concern specifically with Idaho for years.
yeah.
Especially with your plus 26,000-pound engines, tenders, that under Washington State Patrol EVIP, emergency response guidelines, you're good.
Yeah.
Now the emergency's over.
And we ran into that in my past life, that you could say in emergency response, you got 90 cars stacked up on the interstate, tractor trailers. You can drive the large wrecker to the scene, hook up, pull it from the scene, but you have to immediately get off the highway.
Right.
And then somebody else has to take over.
Gotcha.
So-
Just move it to clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
So some just, you know.
Sounds like some kind of.
Because the problem with that becomes is that's a huge fine if we don't, make sure we're covered and everything.
Like I said, Commissioner, I'll check with legal and find out exactly what ground we stand on, and then at what point in time do we transition from operating under the EVIP guidelines, and where do we begin the commercial? So we stay within the.
And I think a lot of it, as long as we're towing our own vehicles, I don't think that's gonna be a big problem, but it's, if we decide to haul somebody else's vehicle, that becomes different.
Yeah, like a logging truck or something, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, well, I don't think you're gonna haul a logging truck.
Fire.
I tried.
Smaller shed.
Yeah.
What about using it during an extrication, or we gotta get that vehicle on its feet?
That becomes an emergency vehicle at that point.
That's what we got. We back up, it's wrapped up against the tree, we gotta get that car off the tree, and they can do that.
Yeah, and you're gonna, of course, you're gonna get major, the first time that happens, which inevitably it might.
Well, it's going to now that you brought it up.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna happen, and then you're gonna get now you're gonna get the conflict, right? Cause we're scratching in somebody else's area, and that's fine, our goal is public safety. That's it, you know, we're not trying to expand out commercially, at this point, I'm making money with that traffic. Do you have anything, Mike?
At this
Nope.
point.
Yeah. Jerry?
I don't think anything's really changed that much with fleet.
Well, why not?
Really?
Only a 40%
Why
increase.
not?
in
You can see the parking lot's almost empty.
You're right.
This one?
Yeah. No, actually, so I retrieved our fancy tow truck there. In fact, we played with it the other day. That boom raises up into the sky, and I think the ratings on that is like 60,000 pounds that it can pull or drag from whatever point. There's different settings on there based on where the boom is. So it's kind of a cool feature. The truck only has 38,000 miles on it. And it pulled our little forklift out of the mud, no problem. So, yeah, pretty big deal. Now, we also did find out that there is potential to put that tow truck on contract on with DNR, and potentially make money in that direction as well if it came down to it. So there are other options for that tow truck. And then also, you saw the dozer out there. We found out the dozer gonna have to do some refurbishing of the undercarriage, but for $1,700. I think
1,700.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's worth more than that. It's
I
crap.
think we dodged a big bullet there because they said it had something wrong with the steering, but Bo was able to maneuver that thing for 2 hours.
It needed grease.
Never, well, he had the blinking air out of the hydraulic system is what it took to get it to function properly. Aside from that, everything was good, but currently, our fleet, not counting Battalion 4, the addition there, and I've got some of those numbers a little bit here, but we do have 17 plus crew or squad vehicles currently running around the county. We have 26 ambulances, and I believe that was my calculation, adding the 3 ambulances that we got from Battalion 3 or 4. And brush trucks, just to help you out on that one. I didn't want to jump in because I was really questioning, because I have to add the Battalion 4 stuff in there, and then subtract the ones that aren't mechanically quite right yet. We currently have 6 plus 1 in the shop that's becoming a Type 6. Then we have another one that is going to get refurbished, the 2020 unit. And then we have 3 other brush trucks on top of that. So I think our total count on brush trucks is 9. If I add those up right. For engines that we have currently in or out of service, I know one's on the surplus list. And so we're at 9 fire engines in our fleet at the current time. Then, plus 3, I'm adding 3 more. I don't even know where these engines are coming from, but, that's brush engines and all of our response engines. So plus 3 from, BAT 4 that I can think of off the top of my head, so that would put us at about 13. And then, 12, cause there's one that didn't get removed from the list that we surplused. Then on tenders, we have 7 tenders currently in our fleet, which sounds like an awful lot of tenders. I'm still trying to figure out where all those are. I don't know. The fleet has gotten so big that trying to manage it's numbers on a page at the moment because there's so many of them, and I've had my hands on a lot of them, but then, you know, when they get parked somewhere, you don't think about it for a while. Next thing you know, it pops up again. You're like, oh yeah, we do still have that one.
Right now, Commissioner, 20, 22, 25, 42 are all in service.
We get 4 in, 3 out.
All, 3 out of our 4 are in service right now, and then 1, potentially 2 out of BAT 4s.
Was Jared gonna give a report on the surplus list from last time, or have we?
No, you see Jarrett's, lot out there in the corner, that's his holding lot right there, that's the bullpen. And that's where the folks are gonna come in and start to look at the equipment they're gonna buy from us.
You guys wanna buy a fire truck?
You guys are.
We'll make you a great deal.
You guys, is that right?
We
You
did
know,
surplus some of the shipping containers, I
Oh,
was
yes.
trying to prompt you to. They were on last time's list, so I just was trying to keep
we
it.
did have, thank goodness, that's not part of fleets.
Yeah.
I don't have to think about it. Yeah, we, on the specialty vehicles, including utility trucks, and, other vehicles, we're at about 25 additional units, just in battalion 4 side of things. I haven't been able to make a list of the BAT 4 stuff yet, so I think our fleet is probably in excess of, 100 units at this point in time. And then I'll work on solidifying that list, come next month, so that I have a firm, hard list of what we have, running around. But, maintenance, obviously ongoing out there. Is there any other questions on what, has been done, hasn't been done, or, needs to be done?
Well, to be honest with you, we'll probably, off the 100, we're more than likely gonna purge between 20 and 25% of that. It's just floating rotating stock, that's all it
Is
is.
that one out in the corner that's, been surplus that's now broken?
Engine 25, I mean, it still pumps, and there's a good idea as to what's going on with the gearbox at this point in time.
We're gonna contract that out to get fixed. We have somebody that we believe that knows how to fix that pretty easily. Yeah, and that'll be surplus.
It is currently marketed right now, so.
How much?
15,000.
Paid 9 for it. It served us for 2 years. A little over 2 years, right?
Yeah, it's been in service for, it's about 2 years since I drove that thing back from Denver. Broke down once, did the repair en route, and, I think that repair cost us about $400. So, with that, we've really never had to put a whole lot of money into it until we replaced the door, but aside from that, everything,
That's the one.
yes, sir.
That's the culprit. Good.
Yeah, I'm good if they're good.
Nikki needs to do a report with respect to the insurance, transition.
I contacted Endurus, which is the insurance company for the fire district 4, and asked them what, if anything, that they need from us right now, considering they are covering those buildings, those vehicles. And he said that he needed to speak to a supervisor because he wasn't sure what he needed from us. I did assure him that we had at minimum or better, with regard to, experienced people for a fire chief and operations as they had before. He told me that he would contact me if he had any further questions about anybody's qualifications, anybody that's working or running or in charge of any of those buildings or vehicles. Then we contacted our insurance company, for District 2, cities. And I have a list of things from her that I need, that I sent a request to, Endurus for. They want loss runs, meaning any previous, loss or payout, for District 4 on, for the course of the past 10 years. Number of calls and some other questions, and I did tell her that sometime by the end of next week, providing Endurus is cooperative and sends me what I need from them, I would get all the things she asked for so that we can get a quote from them on the combining of everything that District 2 has and everything that the Battalion 4 has as an entirety. And then we will proceed and lump the two jointly together, pay whatever the difference is that we're gonna owe, based on what we've already paid, and then we will seek to get a refund from Endurus for any months that are left over, because we're covered through the end of August on the previous Battalion 4 during Endurus. And I'll probably have a better report on where we're at with that next month, once information has gone to both insurance companies and we have the quote.
I can almost promise you that they will drag their feet to make the transition so that the refund is minimal as it has. But the thought process is to try to get this done as quickly as possible, to really be pressing on both parties to get it done so that we can use that refund to pay insurance into going into next year. And we don't, we're probably gonna walk into this a little bit, you know, we'll have the benefit of being with cities for a while with 0 claims. We have had a couple issues and we basically just cut a check for them. We let our insurance company know, but we just cut a check for them so we wouldn't have any claims at all. Unfortunately, District 4 comes with some insurance claims with them, so I'm hoping that our relationship with cities that we've had, where we had 0 claims, will mitigate the cost analysis with respect to adding that down there, because we're not adding that manager, we're not adding that, we're just bringing that on board. So once that's all aligned and everything else like that, then we will begin to also tackle the DMV aspect of it, because we got to begin the transitioning, the changes from District 4 doesn't exist anymore, and then, you know, this is a process. Ideally, it should have taken place on the 20th, right? Because that's, you know, bam, bam, and these things don't happen that way. You know, we're more worried about emergency response and staffing and capabilities of delivering the service, and now that we're integrating and rolling down the road, now all of these integrations are taking place, that they are taking place. It's rolling them slow. There's coverage on both areas. There's no ambiguity about that. Legally, we're still fine. We got a window that we have to operate in. So.
And we did have, which is why I asked about it, we did have 16 vehicles requested for surplus and approved by the board last month. And as we scale those down and those surpluses take place, it will also mitigate the number of vehicles that we're actually insuring, both from Battalion 4 and from the whole of District 2, what we had previous. So things may be a rolling change as we're doing them and we're surplusing vehicles at the same time.
The best thing about that is that we're rolling changers, right? Because we can't afford nice things. So then we roll. We look for deals and we roll stuff in and we roll stuff out, and then we elevate our equipment by doing that. So it's really helped us, you know, rolling District 4 into this and making this work is not going to be totally, you know, foreign to us. I will say this, that it's going to probably take 18 to 24 months operationally to figure out exactly where we need equipment, exactly how it needs to be placed out, and how we're going to deploy it, and what our deployment model is. And with respect to the Ione station, you know, I really want to keep personnel in that building, but we're getting to a point in a place where Ione has to happen. Something has to give in Ione. Right? We can't throw good money after bad money. We can't do the maintenance on the building that they're contracted to do it. And I can't put $100,000 in that building for new living quarters and showers and all that kind of great stuff if we don't own the building. It doesn't make sense. So I'm going to try to do my best as a representative of this board to make some sort of deal to make that work. If it doesn't, I think that 2026 should be the time that we decide that we're good. This is going to play out one way or the other, in the affirmative or the negative. And we may end up splitting 25, shifting some resources here and responding out of Tiger, and then shifting the rest of the resources north. Okay? Because we own property in Meadowing Falls. That is a community up there that's growing. They deserve the same response capabilities and the same time frame. We deliver well. We deliver well in those areas, but we could deliver better if we divided it and had it split up the right way. So I'm really hoping that the board, not so much this board, because I know where this board stands, and believe me, they know as well. The mayor came down here and basically told me that board told him that if you come down to Fire District 2 and they're gonna want that building for nothing. And then he came down and basically said, well, we want it for the appraised value. Well, the appraised value is well over $200,000. So we're not even in the same realm. But if you do a cost analysis, if you look at it, the building is costing them a lot more money than it's costing us. So, you know,
Has for a long time.
I'm really, and I tried to explain this to Mayor Nutt, and I think we all feel this on this board, all of us that have dealt with the circumstance before. Why don't we have the same continuity and fluid interactions and behavior with respect to the fire districts that we have in our North County terms? Like, you know, there's a partnership, that you feel that there's a partnership, and sometimes I don't feel that partnership is a real partnership, and I own it. It's really bizarre, and I know that it's history. I know that there's a lot of history there that's wound up in it, but the North I think can at times be a tad bit more history, you know, I don't know. I think that the North is just, the Medellin and Medellin Falls has just been really great partners. You know, really, and I'm not saying that Ione has that, I'm just saying that I wish that type of relationship existed between that town council and the other town councils.
They're players.
That's all, that's all.
They're players.
So I'm gonna urge the board that 2026, just so that we're on record, I'm gonna urge the board that on 2026, this is it for us. I think we should draw a line. Like, and I don't wanna force anybody to do anything. I wanna throw $150,000 into that station. I wanna make it nice. But we'll throw $150,000 at a station in Medellin Falls. And we'll throw 50,000 down here and house a person down here. The response capabilities will change dramatically with respect to response times in certain communities. And we have to do what's right for the overall district, not for one centered piece in our entity. So that's my mindset. And you know, if I'm deviating away from the thought processes of this board, you need to direct me now on, you know, hey, good, bad, or indifferent. So that's kind of my thought process.
Are we renting the building or?
No, we're not like a 50-year lease for $1 a year.
Oh, okay.
And that kind of goes with per the RCW, towns have to be contracted with a fire district. So we kind of worked that out, not with Medellin because they didn't really have any space, but we worked that out with Medellin Falls and Ione under contract, where basically, you know, you pay us, or we pay a very nominal amount a year, and then per RCW, you fulfill your requirements per the RCW, because then you've contracted with a fire service to protect city property. So, but I think that we're there, and you know, maybe, you know, I don't know, maybe 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, and there's a different person in here, maybe they deal differently, right? I don't know if it's the person or the place or the situation.
It's also pointful to mention that we do not charge any of these cities for the contract.
No, absolutely not.
There
Because
is-
they
there's
have no money.
fee.
They have no money.
Right, but we don't even initiate a charge.
Yeah.
It's on agreement, it's on,
Because
you know, virtually a handshake agreement and what.
Well, we're all in contract, but we all mutually agree that, you know, we need to respect and care for one another and look after one another, you know, so. When we have a town, you know, I'll say it, we have a town council member in Ione say, oh yeah, well, District 2 wants that building, woo, well, we're gonna get some money out of them. What are you doing? Well, how is that a partnership? Like, who are you juicing? You're juicing yourself. 4-minute response times in Ione. Up until this last year, Ione had the fastest response times of even the county seat in Monterey County.
It's faster than Seattle.
But,
That's faster than Seattle.
Oh, yes.
so I think we all on the same page. I'm not at my wit's end, but I've been doing this for a while now. And let's just, you know,
I would have pulled the plug a couple of years ago.
I know. You know, and you've warned me, and other commissioners have warned me, you know, look, what are you doing? You know, the greatest thing is that you give me the autonomy to make mistakes. And we're trying to do the best. I don't wanna stomp out of there. It's not good for the constituency, right? But
Their choice.
In all fairness, chief, we did have a 6-minute response time to that structure fire. Because they had to unhook the engine from the hydrant.
They were in the
In
middle.
the middle
They
of
were
the
in the
training.
middle of training.
Oh, they left the hose.
They did. And we were mad about about a 6-minute response time, this is unacceptable.
Well, was it the other end of town?
Well, until we pulled up and saw that they had all the hose laid out, they've been training.
Well, my neighbors were pretty impressed with us, and Kevin and I talked about the merger, and his chimney fire the other day, and thank you, this is impressive. He's lived there for all his life, Kevin.
But that one just south of you there?
Yeah, just across the field from me, right, Kevin Hahn's place, just right almost right across from Station 42.
So you were really integral in that.
Well, I was standing there talking to him about cleaning up along the fence line, I looked over and there was a fireball 3 foot in diameter, 5 feet tall above that chimney, I thought it had already come through the roof. Kevin, you got chimney fire, and I just took off running for, trying to call her on the radio, because you gotta get to the station. And, you know, there, and unfortunately, it was just the stove, and the guy in there said, I wanted a nice warm afternoon.
You bug out.
Careful what you wish.
And that concludes the operations report. If you have any questions?
Anybody? Questions?
I'd just like to say thank you guys for the help, everybody involved the other day. I pulled up and I was trying to get out my size up and it just kept blowing up in front of me and at one point I just gave up. I don't know, because now the fire's going over my head and I can't see anything anymore. And I will say that it concerned me that we have fire behavior like that
Yeah.
and it's only March.
Yeah.
Now, I know that we probably say that every year, but that was a bit ridiculous. It was getting ready to torch that tree, and, yeah, it was getting pretty dicey there for a minute, so.
Hey, we still got Blackberry Road next month, and
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
third time's the charm. He's still got 40 acres to log, so we'll be.
Corey, my boss, is wanting to burn some of her fields, so I'll be reaching out to you guys to help out with that, and just for training. But yeah, thank you guys again, it was great having Paul on the scene, he can handle the north end, I handle the south end, and, I hit it hard with the engine, you know, I gotta stop it. Yeah, so thanks.
But how unique is it to have a deputy chief of a district or an entity that sits on the board of the other one that sit with each other, that have a mutual aid agreement? Wow, that's absolutely remarkable. Like, you can't write a story that great.
Yeah, and the response times, I mean, that was great too. I was hoping to keep it with just the two of us, you know, but
Well,
I was getting a little concerned there for a minute.
Well, everybody knows that, you know, that, with no ambiguity, that the tribe has carried the operations in District 4 and really bailed them out a lot of times. And our goal is to be a true mutual aid partner. And I think we're almost there, and it happened pretty quickly. And once we start to see the finances, once we start to see the overall finances of how things are gonna play out, and then of course the fire season looking the way it does, you know, we're definitely gonna throw money at staffing, cause that's where you get your biggest bang for the buck, so I think it's gonna get better.
Well, it's been a noticeable change as far as responses, you know, response times and actually having 4 on the scene, you know, with manpower, you know, I mean, you could always get somebody to respond, but, you know, it might have just been one person.
Chief Weber was phenomenal.
He was.
I mean,
He
every
was.
single run.
Yeah.
I mean,
He
nobody-
showed up every single time.
Yep.
Absolutely, but oftentimes, like I said, by himself.
Yeah.
Not-
And we love helping. I know my guys love helping. They like to call load, you know, if we just stuck with the reservation, I would probably lose everybody. You know, so,
Okay.
It was kind of fun to see Tim and Donovan just big old, you know, grins. Fire.
All of our encounters with the tribe have been great. I've worked at each shift, and they're just go-getters.
yeah.
Great equipment, go-getters. That good stuff.
Okay, we'll move into open session. Do we have anybody from the audience?
Not you.
The paper?
Does anyone else wanna go first, cause I've got 4 subject matters.
I have one small question
There you go.
for Chris, actually. You acquired the shop there in Medellin. Is that just gonna be for storage? Does that have anything?
We didn't acquire it, I acquired it.
You acquired, okay,
I
so it's
acquired it.
not, that's
No,
personal.
we basically just put stuff in there. I don't have anything running into it.
Okay.
We just put stuff there,
Okay,
to store out of the cold.
nice.
Now that we've inherited up more buildings, we can move
Oh,
our
you
stuff,
might
and I
be
won't be utilizing that. And then I hope in the next year to build it out and to have more things.
That was my question, where is it gonna go
I don't know, do you wanna buy the building? Do you wanna buy the?
Do we
I'll
have,
sell it.
do we have any trucks?
We can't afford to buy it back.
We have a tender, type 3, a type 6, 2 ambulances, and a med mod all in that station.
He has a bunch of stuff in there, but yeah,
Not
okay, so
counting the
it's
Harley
personal,
as
so
a
that,
Mustang.
Yeah.
that question's done
Yeah,
then.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. I know, I should've came to you and said, hey, by the way, I bought a building and I'm stuffing all the.
Well, we kinda know, it's a small town. you know.
Yeah. Well, our thought was, we need to get it out of the cold side, came to these guys and said, look, I'll charge you 0 rent to put the equipment in there, just pick up the utility bills, cause I wouldn't be running utility in there anyways if that, you know,
Right.
during the winter, to heat
Yeah.
the walls, so. They've been good about paying utility bills, and I think next year, by the way, hi.
Hi.
The utility bill.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. We have to be self-sustaining. Didn't you just speak about that?
Yes, yes,
Say it.
yes,
Sometimes,
yes.
Sonia?
Okay, 4 subject matters. First one is, can you clarify a little bit on the report to the auditor regarding the fraud? I wasn't clear, is it potential fraud committed against the district and potential inaccuracies in payroll paid in the past by District 4? Are they 2 separate reports? Are they compiled into one, or do I have it completely wrong?
2 subjects, one is the propane
Okay,
and one is the payroll,
And there are 2 separate reports.
they are 2 separate
entirely.
reports,
Yes.
okay.
yeah.
So.
2 separate investigations.
The Fire District 4 board signed off on all of those payments and on the payroll, right?
No,
No, what was the process of Fire District 4?
well,
I should have asked that.
Commissioner Slocum actually stopped that dead in its tracks at one point in time,
But actually, it is signed for
By,
by the majority, yes.
by a quorum of the commissioners.
Have to be.
so I know you can't comment on this, but I really hope that that board is then being looked at too as an auditor. I know you can't comment on that because that's part of the investigation.
It's all gonna be up to whatever the auditor did. He had gotten advice that the best thing for us to do is to simply report it to the state like we're obligated to. I'm providing them whatever information they're asking for, and then they're gonna do with it whatever they do with it.
Okay, previous 3 meetings, there was the subject matter, thank you for that. Previous 3 meetings, there was a subject matter of the pickup, I believe a vehicle that belonged to Fire District 4 that was on loan to Fire District 5 at the very last meeting. It was determined that that vehicle was then gonna be, retrieved because of basically a non-official answer from the quorum of Fire District 4. Has that been completed, is it finally done?
Chief
It's
has-
back.
I appreciate that, because I don't want that liability in our fire district, so I appreciate that. Number 3, also the previous 2 meetings, subject matter discussion, and you know that this is extremely important to me because I reported on this extensively 8 years ago with a completely different board other than Mr. Mundy. Thank you for sticking around. There was.
That's good or bad.
We're gonna see.
There was a discussion about commissioners receiving pay as commissioner and a commissioner receiving pay as a first responder. Has that resolved now? Is one or the other position now not in existence, or do we still have situations of someone collecting both pays?
As far as I know, we're not paying both sides of that house.
Okay.
We're either commissioners or we're first responders.
I direct payments for both, and I am not directing payments for commissioners in 2 different directions for any commissioner that's
Okay,
currently on.
good, so it's resolved like.
I think what she's really asking is, by the RCW, you can be a commissioner and you can be a volunteer first responder, but to do that, you have to have the unanimous approval of the board. I don't believe that part of the equation has been fulfilled.
I have a question, does that include the pay that goes with the volunteer?
No,
Or just the fact of
you can't get
volunteering?
paid as a volunteer. And to be a volunteer by the RCW, you have to have the unanimous approval of the board.
To have this, so for one person to have the status of both, the board has to approve it, and you've not had that
Unanimously.
vote.
And we
So
have
do
not
you
had
still
that.
have
We
anybody
have
that
not
is
had
being
that
both?
vote.
Okay. And then the fourth one is, I've been asked by, several organizations about CPR training in the county. And I know that Fire District Two, has done several in the past. And do you have any planned, or are you thinking about any of them? Most of the requests are coming out of, Cusick and Newport, which is, might be a little bit difficult, but, no, not Cusick anymore, but.
Well, we have a plethora of CPR instructors, and then the appropriate people, if they're looking for them, I've always did trainings for free. We've never charged, so all the people have to do is get a hold of us, get a hold of either Paula in South County, Eric, Blake, myself, and then we'll make that happen. We'll come to your, if it's more than a couple people, we'll come to your facility. There are some organizations that come to us and they're work-related. So then when it's work-related, then we do charge for that if a corporation comes to us and does that. But for the public citizenry that are taxpayers, we'll do it for free.
So for the general public and maybe for like all volunteer nonprofits, it would be a free training?
Yes, well, yes. For volunteer nonprofits county, within the county, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, I figured I would just do an article about it because I get asked this question like every
Okay.
few weeks.
Except for the terrorist nonprofits.
Yeah.
We don't do those.
As far as I know, we don't have any USAID money in Monterey County, so I think we're good.
Well, they're, yeah.
Whom should I put down as a primary contact for that? Should I just give it to Paul? He has
Sure.
nothing to do.
Sure.
Blake?
Blake, North County, Paul, South County. So Blake is in charge of division, he's North County, and then Paul, South County.
All right, thank you very much. That's all I have. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, criticisms?
I have a general announcement,
Yes, sir.
it's fire related. Chief, you were talking about, meeting with members with deep roots in the community. We have a member up here that was deep rooted and a long-term member of the community, who recently passed away, and that's Tom Sandell. Passed away last, a couple Saturdays ago in Spokane. Some of you know him as Dooley, and some of you might know him as responding to 401 Houghton Street, apartment 3 from time to time. Great guy, a friend of mine, and I'm blessed. So it's sad news. But tomorrow's a celebration of life, and it's gonna start at St. Joseph's Catholic Church, 10:30, up in Medellin Falls. And then at the Medellin Cemetery tomorrow at 1 o'clock, we're gonna have a graveside service. And then following that, up at the American Legion, we're gonna have a potluck and a get-together for him. So, yeah, if you can make it, definitely. Great man. There'll be some great stories, I imagine as well, so.
We'll make sure we have representation there, so.
Thank you.
That's
Already
good.
put it out.
You said
I
it.
already saw an ice
Like
cream.
put it out.
I did send it out, but the times were changed, so I'll send out a modification.
So 10:30 at St. Joseph's and 1 o'clock.
What would be the most appropriate for our crew?
Graveside at 1 o'clock.
The graveside probably?
Absolutely, graveside, fire trucks and everything, but just show up at the American Legion, you guys are always welcome, be part of the family.
Does the American Legion pass just after the 1 o'clock?
Yes.
That's correct, yes.
My calendar's already full.
You get that.
But thank you.
Thank you, anything else?
7th District Representatives at Camas Center on Monday?
Oh, that's
5:30?
correct, yes, we do.
5 o'clock?
7th District, yeah,
5:30, something like that, at the Camas Center on Monday the 30th.
that's correct.
And then another one in Cabo. I'm printing it tomorrow. I don't have it memorized.
Okay, nothing else for the open session? I have a note here that requesting a closed session under RCW 42.30.140, meeting time approximately 20 minutes, and we will adjourn after that.
We put it at the end so the public wouldn't have to wait through it, so.
And it's a blue note, that's all I know.
So it must be important.
Oh.
Must be important.